Hi, today in this speech I'm going to inform you guys about the United States debt ceiling and how it affects various aspects of American society. Well, did you guys know that our country is currently $17 trillion in debt, and that number is going nowhere but up? According to Michael Swade of MikePolicy.com, $3.7 billion of new debt is added every single day, which accounts to about a $1.5 trillion annual increase to our debt ceiling. This is causing many problems to our society, which include higher interest rates, tax refunds are being delayed, government assistance programs such as Social Security benefits and food stamps are all being delayed. I had a friend a couple years back. He was newly married and he was ready to buy a house. However, once he saw how high the mortgage interest rates were, he just simply couldn't fathom the amount of money he was going to be spending. So he decided to lay off the house purchase for another 1 or 2 years. And this is not uncommon and happens to a lot of people nowadays. So in this speech, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how the debt ceiling affects the average American, such as you and me, how the debt ceiling affects the government and its spending, and how the debt ceiling affects the economy. Let's get started on how the debt ceiling affects average American. First off, one of the most prominent effects it has on people such as you and me is higher interest rates. According to Adam Levin of the Huffington Post, people with mediocre to bad credit could see their credit card interest rates spike to about 32% within 3 years, and that's a pretty absurd number if you think about it. In addition, new purchase and existing balances, their interest rates could also go up as well. Another effect the debt ceiling will have on the average American is, like I said before, the mortgage interest rates will increase. Just like what happened to my friend a few years back who couldn't afford their house, this is becoming more and more common practice today, and this has caused the real estate business or real estate in general to drop off within the last few years. Lastly, one of the most important effects of the debt ceiling is the delay of government assistance programs such as food stamps, Social Security benefits, and unemployment benefits. For those people in the lower class who depend on these government assistance programs to get by, without these programs or with them being delayed, they can really affect them and their daily lives. Now that I've talked about how the debt ceiling affects the average American, now let's talk about how the debt ceiling affects the government. Like many of you know, from October 1st to October 16th of this year, our government essentially shut down. What this basically means is that not all government-related businesses such as national parks and consumer safety programs and all that, they're shut down. According to Michael Shear of the New York Times, approximately 800,000 federal employees were furloughed indefinitely without pay, and another 1.3 million employees, mostly those working for the military, were forced to work without knowing when their next paycheck was going to arrive. In addition to this, the debt ceiling also affects the government because of its decreased federal budget, and meaning it has less money to spend on government-funded stuff such as national parks and consumer safety programs. This causes them to decrease hours of operation and can cause a loss of revenue. Now that I've talked about how the debt ceiling affects the government, now let's talk about how the debt ceiling affects the economy. One main effect the debt ceiling has on the economy is that the stock prices will drop. Because many people are already being taxed so heavily, and their tax refunds are being delayed or not even coming at all, many of them are unwilling to invest more money in the stock market and essentially gambling their money away. In addition, the stock, hold on. In addition, according to according to Robert Money of thetrumpet.com, Wall Street has gone down by 7% since last year, and it has caused many. Wall Street has gone down by 7% since last year, and it has caused many people to, and it has caused inflation, which has led to the value loss of the U.S. dollar. If the government doesn't, the last thing that the debt ceiling affects, how debt ceiling affects the economy, is through another government shutdown. Because the government shutdown, approximately, according to Forbes.com, approximately $24 billion was essentially just wasted, thrown out the door. If this happens again on January 15th, which is when the next continuing resolution is going to take place, even more than $24 billion may be lost, which can really take its toll on the economy and how our government spends its money. So in this speech, I've talked about how the debt ceiling affects various aspects of American society, everything ranging from the average American, such as you and me, to the government, to the economy. Many people are facing the same problems like my friend faced 2 years back when he was unable to purchase the house that he wanted. And this is becoming more and more common practice nowadays with taxes getting out of control, and with interest rates skyrocketing out of hand. Now that